Okay, let's start our today's class. So we will continue our discussion over probability distribution. That was a chapter 2 in CS1, right? So in the previous class we started with a discrete distribution. As I told you, we have two types of distribution, discrete as well as continuous distributions, right? So in discrete distribution we studied uniform distribution first, then we studied binomial distribution, Bernoulli distribution, and we know that Bernoulli is a specific case of binomial distribution where we are doing only one trial, right? Then we move forward to geometric distribution. Now we will be moving forward to negative binomial distribution. In entire CS1, if you are confused regarding a distribution, that is negative binomial only. Okay, so please open up your minds and focus here only. Negative binomial is the distribution where most of the students confuses. Even if you are revising after few days, you will get confused. What does X represent? What does N represent? What does P represent? You will literally be confused. Okay, so please be aware of this. As we said in the last class, negative binomial distribution is general case of our geometric distribution only, right? So let's note down the heading. We are doing our fourth distribution, I guess. Negative binomial, we are doing a fifth distribution. Let's not write the number of distribution. So note down the heading, negative binomial distribution. Okay. Now negative binomial, in the last class we discussed that negative binomial distribution is general case of geometric distribution. Right, or I can say my geometric distribution is a special case of negative binomial distribution. So what was geometric distribution? From the last class we know in the geometric distribution we were doing number of trials. We were doing, for example, X number of trials, and before this X number of trials I was getting my X minus 1 failures and I was getting my first success at my Xth trial, right? So in my geometric I was getting first success at my Xth trial, but in my negative binomial I would be getting my kth success. Now I am no more concerned with my first success, I am concerned with my kth success. Okay, for example, if I say fifth success, sixth success, okay, that's my k. Kth success in Xth trial. Is the difference clear, guys? In geometric we were concerned with our first success, in negative binomial we are concerned with our kth success. For example, if I give you an example, we are doing 20 trials and now I am saying that find the probability that I am getting my 10th success at my 20th trial. Okay, so this means before my 20th trial, that is in my 19 trials, I have already received 9 successes and 10 failures. Okay, so is this K success X trials clear? So this means if I talk about my general terms, if this is my Xth trial, here I am getting my Kth success, right? So before this I have done how many trials? X minus 1 trials I have done, out of which I have got K minus 1 success and X minus 1 minus K minus 1, that is X minus K failures, right? Is this clear? So now coming to this phase, let's forget for this case now, coming to X minus 1 trials. Till X minus 1 trials, which distribution is this following? Till my X minus 1 trials, what is the distribution being followed? Quickly give me answer in the chat box. Yes, binomial distribution. till my x minus, because I can get my k minus 1 successes is in any possible way. Only this is fixed. I have to get my kth success at this trial. So this is fixed. But before this, I can arrange in any possible number of ways. Okay. So this is similar to following my binomial distribution, where I am getting k minus 1 successes out of total my x minus 1 trials. Okay, so what is the formula now? X minus 1, I am choosing from x minus 1 trials, I am choosing k minus 1 successes. Okay, if my success probability is p, I am getting the success for k minus 1 trials, and I am getting the failures for this much trials. And now if I add the probability of getting this, I know this should be a success, right? So I will multiply an additional probability of success. So my final formula will basically become p k minus 1 plus 1, I add on this power 1 minus p x minus 1 minus k plus 1. So my final probability distribution for my negative binomial becomes x minus 1 c k minus 1 p to the raised power k and 1 minus p raised to the power x minus k. Okay. So here x is my total trials and k is my success number. Total trials till I get k successes. Now if I define my x range, so my x will start from 0 or 1, quickly tell me. My x will start from 0 or 1. I should have at least one trial to get my one success, right? Because I am getting my kth success at x. Clear? Now note down this first, and then I am giving you 30 seconds, note everything down, and then we can start with the further discussion. Quickly note it down, I am giving you 30 seconds. Give me a done in the chat room if it's done. I am again repeating the difference between geometric distribution and negative binomial distribution is basically there we were concerned with our first success, here we are concerned with our kth success in x trials. Okay. So till I receive my kth success, I have already done x minus 1 trials. So this will basically be a binomial distribution, and after binomial distribution I am adding the probability of my kth success, which is p. Then I get my distribution. Now coming forward, expectation of x will be my k by p and variance of x will be my k 1 minus p by p. Just a second. Yes, this was my k 1 minus p square. Okay. Now if I compare this formula with my geometric formula, now if I compare this formula to my geometric formula, can you compare this? You will understand the relationship between geometric and negative binomial. And I also told you that geometric distribution had two types. Type 1 geometric distribution where I am concerned about my success, and type 2 geometric distribution where I am talking about the number of failures before my success, right. Similarly, we have two types of distribution, negative binomial 1 and negative binomial 2. You can see the differentiation in the tables book as well. No need to learn this formula, Again, you have tables book to get your formulas. Okay, you need to understand how this distribution came. You do not need to learn this distribution, but you should know what is the meaning of this distribution basically. Clear, guys? Shall we move forward? Okay. Now I'm giving you a question. Quickly note down the question. If the probability that a person will believe a rumor about a scandal in politics is 0.8, if the probability that a person will believe a rumor about a scandal in politics is 0.8, calculate the probability that the 9th person to hear the rumor will be the 4th person to believe it. That the 9th person to hear the rumor will be the 4th person to believe it. Try solving this. So, let me tell you what is my x here. Number of trials are the number of people, right? 9th person. This is my x, and I want how many successes? 4 successes, 4th person to believe the rumor, right? So, k will be my 4. Now, quickly give me the answer, putting in the formula. Let me show you the formula, or use the tables book basically. Come on, I want answers in the chat box. Okay, so what was it saying? That the person will believe a rumor, 9th person, right? Probability, what is my probability of success? Is the probability of believing the rumor? So it is 0.8. So 1 minus p will be my 0.2 basically. Okay? Now I am saying the 9th person. So x is my 9, is the 4th person to believe the rumor. So my 4th success event is the person believing the rumor. So what will be my formula? It will be equals to 9. This will be 9 minus 1 c 4 k minus 1 into probability, success probability raised to the power k 4, and my failure probability raised to the power n minus k, x minus k basically. So 9 minus 4, which is 5. Clear? Solve this and give me the answer. What is the answer coming out to be? This become basically 83, 0.84. Don't try to solve it when you use the calculator quickly and tell me the answer. What is the answer? 0.00734. Very good. Okay, please check if this is the answer you are getting. Give me a done in the chat room, then we can move forward to next distribution. Okay, now moving forward to one more distribution. It is not mentioned in your tables book, but still we are learning this distribution. Okay, its question can simply be done without the use of its probability distribution function. We can use the normal concept that we have learned in earlier classes about the combinations, right? We can do it that way also, but still let us define a distribution, hypergeometric distribution. So since it is not in tables book, note down its value, note down its probability distribution function. Again I am saying, not mentioned in your tables book, not very important. Okay, Harshia, which calculation? This calculation? Which calculation did you basically not understand, Fatima? I would require your contribution in this. Then only I can repeat the things. This is your 8C3. Use your calculator to get the value of 8C3 into 0.8 raised to the power 4, 0.2 raised to the power 5. Giving you 30 seconds, try doing in the calculator, okay? And then tell me if you are getting the answer. In your calculator, you might be getting the answer 7.340032 into 10 to the power minus 3. Is it you are getting the answer? This is equal to this beta. Or were you not able to put in the values here? I would require the doubt from your end. Fatima, is it clear now? Can we move forward? Assuming no response from your end, I have to move forward. Okay, let's talk about hypergeometric distribution. Basically, hypergeometric distribution, as I was saying, is not mentioned in your tables book, so make sure you're writing its formula and mean and variance. Okay, once again I am telling it is not so important distribution. There are questions of hypergeometric distribution that can be completed without the use of distribution function. Okay, you have already done this in combinations and permutations basically. Okay, so remember the questions you used to do of cards where you did not replace the cards. There was a deck of 52 cards and you used to take out a card and then calculate the probability of taking out another card without replacement of the first card. Remember that concept? This is similar to hypergeometric distribution. That situation can be modeled in hypergeometric situation. Okay, so note down the probability function first. K small x capital N minus small k capital N minus small x divided by N N. So when I write bracket, this means KCX N minus KC N minus x N C N. Note down this formula. Done. Now we will understand what is what. Okay. So my x is basically total number of successes in population. Okay, my x is successes in the population. My k is successes I am concerned about. Okay, my capital N is my population size. K is my success events basically. This is my number of success in the population. This models my number of success in the population. K is my total success events. capital N is my population size and small n is my sample size. Are the four notations clear? Let me repeat again. Capital X is the random variable modeling the number of successes. Okay, K is the total number of success events in the population, N is the population size and small n is your sample size. What we will do is, there is a population of n size, there would be k success events in it. For example, if I am talking about there is how many girls are there in the population. So, if my entire country's population is 1000, right? So, if my country's population is 1000, my n becomes 1000, out of which I can't model 1000 of them. So, that is why I will take a sample which is my n, small n, okay. Out of this n I want small x successes, and out of this capital, out of this population I have k successes. Is the distribution cleared? Let me give you an example. We have 100 students in the school, right? Out of this, we have 50 students who have passed the class. 100 students in the school, 50 students who have passed the class. Now, I am taking the sample of 10 students out of those 100 students, and I want to find the probability that out of those 10 students, I am getting 3 students who have passed. Okay? Clear? Give me a quick yes in the chat room. Let's do a question of it, and then you will be more understood with what exactly this distribution about. Okay? Write down the question. Among 58 people applying for a job, only 30 have a particular qualification. Only 30 people have a particular qualification. If 5 of group are randomly reviewed, determine the probability that none of the group have qualification. Determine the probability that none of the group selected have qualification. You have 2 minutes. Either you can use the distribution we have defined here by defining n, small n, k and x, or you can do it from without the distribution, thinking about the replacement, non-replacement thing. I am giving you 1 minute. Try doing this and try giving me the answer. So, look, let me help you with this question, since it is a new type of distribution. What we are, first let us do without the use of distribution function, okay. We are saying we have 58 people, out of which 30 have the qualification, right. I am selecting 5 people out of this, and I want out of this 0 have the qualification, right. So, first person not having the qualification, if I select my first person not having the qualification, what will it be? Out of 58 people, 30 have the qualification. So, how many people do not have the qualification? 28. So, the probability of choosing the first person that will be not be qualifying will be 28 by 58, right. Total number of students not having qualification divided by total number of students into. Now, I have chosen already that person. I am left with 57 people now, and I have to select someone who do not have qualification. So, 27 are left without qualification. Similarly for third person, now I am left with 56 people and I have already selected 2 people without the qualification out of 28. So how many more are left without the qualification? 26. Similarly for fourth, it will be 25 by 55 and fifth, it will be 24 by 55. So this is how you could do without the distribution. Clear? Is this clear? Please make this class interactive. Is this clear, Fatima? And rest of the students in the online class, give me a yes in the chat room. Now if I do it with the distribution, so what is my population size? What is my population size? Yes, it is 58. Okay. How many sample am I taking? I am checking 5 students. So my sample is 5. Very good. Now, what are my total success events? My total success events are 30. Right? And how many successes I want basically? I want 0 successes. Clear? So now you can put in the formula of the hypergeometric distribution, you will get the similar answer. If this is clear, give me a yes in the chat room. I am giving you 30 seconds to wrap up everything and then we can start with the most important distribution of our statistics, that is Poisson distribution. Give me a done in the chat room if it's okay. Okay, I can see a yes in the chat room. Let's move forward to our most important distribution. Put down the heading Poisson distribution. You will understand the power of this distribution basically in CS2 and CM2. Very important distribution if I talk about CS2 and CM2 perspective. Relevant in CS1, but still you will be getting to know its power in CS2 and CM2, okay? Now, if I talk about Poisson distribution, let us take an example. For example, I am saying I am watching a match. I usually say in this football match, on an average, 3 goals are scored per match, okay? I read the past data, I saw the past matches, I can say, okay, now on an average 3 goals are scored per match. Now I have to find the probability that in my further match, it will be scoring 4 goals, 5 goals or X number of goals. So in that case, I use Poisson distribution. Or I say, my machinery on an average fails 2 times a year. So find the probability that it will fail 3 times a year, or 4 times a year, or 1 times a year, or it will not fail at all. Okay? Clear? Now, this is one of the distribution whose probability function you should learn wholeheartedly. First, you should learn the distribution function of binomial. Second, Poisson distribution. Even though you have those in tables book, but since they are used regularly and more frequently, that's why it is required that you remember these wholeheartedly. I won't be saying to all the distributions, but there are some particular distributions, 2 to 4 distributions whose probability function and mean variance you should learn wholeheartedly, okay? Similar to tables you used to learn in the previous classes, right? You used to wake up and revise those tables 3 to 4 times. Now you have to revise these distribution functions and mean variance 4 to 5 times so that you can understand them or learn them, okay? So what is the distribution function? Here my x follows Poisson with my parameter which is lambda. Okay, my probability function is lambda raised to the power x, e raised to the power minus lambda, and I have a factorial of x in my denominator. Clear? This is my probability function. Now let us approximate our binomial distribution to our Poisson distribution and derive its mean and variance. Cool. Binomial distribution, my x followed binomial distribution n comma p. Now in cases if my n tends to infinity and my p tends to 0, it means I am making my population bigger, okay, and I am reducing my probability to very low point, that is my n is tending to infinity, a very huge population size, and my probability of success is getting to 0, that is I am reducing my probability very much. So in that case I can approximate my distribution to Poisson distribution. Clear? So I will multiply its parameter and I define a new parameter lambda, that is the parameter of my Poisson distribution. This is basically the relationship in your binomial and Poisson distribution. So in case you are getting a question in which there is a huge n, for example in thousands or lakhs, and you have a probability that is very small, okay, for example 1 into 10 to the power minus 8, then you can use this approximation. Clear guys, binomial to Poisson approximation? Online students clear? Okay, now let us derive the mean and variance. So mean of binomial distribution was n into p, and I have said n into p is my lambda. So mean of my Poisson distribution is basically lambda only. Okay, coming to variance. Variance was n into p into 1 minus p. So I can write my n into p as, I can write my p as lambda by n. Similarly here lambda by n. I can derive this, right? N by lambda is equal, lambda by n is equal to my p. So similarly n to n cancels out, I have 1 minus lambda by n. I am saying my n is tending to infinity. So my n is tending to infinity, and so I will have my infinity in the denominator, and once I have my infinity in the denominator, it becomes 0. So this whole term will become 0 as my n tends to infinity. It becomes 0, so this whole term will be tending to 1 only. So I can approximate this to lambda. So my variance is equal to mean is equal to lambda. This is the only distribution in which my mean and variance are equal to the parameter. Okay, this is the only distribution in the statistics in which my mean and variance are equal, and that also equal to my parameter itself. If I talk about my range, my x starts from 0, since discrete I will be doing steps and it goes till infinity, and my lambda is always greater than 0. Clear guys? Give me a yes in the chat room, and then we can do a question. Come on quickly. Now write down the question. If goals are scored randomly in a game of football, at a constant rate of 3 per match, calculate the probability that more than 5 goals are scored in a match. Let me repeat the question. If goals are scored randomly in a game of football at a constant rate of 3 per match, calculate the probability that more than 5 goals are scored in a match. Quickly do it and tell me the answer. Come on, try doing it, guys. Okay, let's read the question. If goals are scored randomly in a game of football at a constant rate of 3 per match, I have been given a constant rate of 3 per match, so my lambda is basically 3. Calculate the probability that more than 5 goals are scored in a match. Okay. Now, with practice you will get to know, here nothing is mentioned what distribution you have to use basically. Okay. But understanding the language of the question itself, you have to determine which distribution we have to fit here, and then we have to calculate the probability value. Okay. If at the start you are getting a wrong distribution guessed, then no worry, practice makes a man perfect, and you have to do a lots of practice of questions, and then only you will be able to determine a correct and appropriate distribution. Clear, guys? So here we have been given the definition as scored randomly at a constant rate. So similar language determines that we have to use the Poisson distribution here. So I have to calculate the probability that more than 5 goals are scored in a match, right? So probability that more than 5 goals, more than 5 means x is greater than 5, I need to find out. Okay. Now x, if I talk about my range of x goes from 0 to infinity. Here my x I want from 6 to infinity. So it would not be feasible to calculate the values at 6, at 7, at 8, at rest of the values, right. So I can say this is my 0, this is my 5, this is my 6. If I want the values from this, I can say I can take whole values and subtract these values. So the sum of all values is 1, and I subtract the values till here, and till here it is x is less than equal to 5. Is this logic cleared? I have also told you through this diagram, and this is the basic concept of probability, right. So now one way is I can do this is 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and since it is less than equal to, we will do 5. Okay. So you can calculate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can add these and then subtract these. But again it will take a lot of time. That's why we have the values of Poisson distribution in tables book itself. Okay. So let's take out the tables book. If you have the tables book, open up a tables book. This is the distribution values. So now I have to calculate what? X is less than equal to 5. So while watching the values from tables book, my first task should be to check what values is my table book throwing. Okay, is it giving me less than values? Is it giving me greater than values? So let's check. My distribution is basically giving me less than equal to values, right? It is giving me less than equal to values. So I want my 5 to be x and I want my, look, here it is giving me lambda is equal to mu here. So I want my mu to be 3, I want my x to be 5. So I will check the values of this combination. So let us check. This is my x values, this is my mu values. So I want my mu to be 3. So this is still 2.70. So I will check the another page. This I have 3. So I will check this row. Okay. Now I have to check 5. So 5 is this column. So basically the intersection of the row and the column, I get this value. So I am getting the value as 91608. Clear? So now I put in my values. So I get my, this value is 0.91608. So 1 minus 0.91608, I get the value as 0.0839. Clear? Is this clear? Give me a yes in the chat room. Waiting for you guys. In the tables book we do not have values for these, we have values for less than equal to. So that is why try fitting, if you have a lot of values to calculate, try fitting this and find the value from tables book. If you have for example 2 only, then you can calculate it. So if I calculate x is equal to 0, so what will be my formula? E raised to the power minus lambda remains same and I have a lambda of 3 into 3 raised to the power 0 and 0 factorial, and 0 factorial is basically my 1. So you could have this would be equal to my this could be equal to my e to the power minus 3. Is it okay? Give me a yes in the chat room so that we can move forward. Okay, note down another question. If each of 55 million people, if each of 55 million people in UK independently have probability of 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 8, probability of 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 of being killed by a falling meteorite in a given year, if each of the 55 million people in UK independently has probability 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 8 of being killed by a falling meteorite in a given year, use an approximation to calculate the probability of exactly 2 such deaths occurring in a given year. Use an approximation to calculate probability of exactly 2 such deaths in a given year. Look, my P n is given 55 million, my P is given 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 8. This is too big, this is too less, that is why I can use my binomial to Poisson approximation. So determine your x follows Poisson lambda, where your lambda is n into p. Try doing this, and I want the probability of exactly 2 people, exactly 2 deaths. So try approximating, then give me the answer of probability x is equal to 2. Quickly, I am waiting. Quickly, guys. you doing? So look, my n is 55 million, so 55 into 10 raised to the power 6 I can write, right? This is 10 raised to the power 6 basically. This is, I have been given 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 8, so 55 into 10 raised to the power minus 2, this basically becomes my 0.55. So this is my lambda. Now you have to calculate x follows your Poisson 0.55, you have to calculate probability x is equal to 2. So this will basically become lambda raised to the power x e raised to the power minus lambda into x factorial. Putting in the values, lambda is 0.55 raised to the power 2 into e raised to the power minus 0.55 divided by 2 factorial. Now solve it and give me the value. So yes, this is coming out to be 0.0873 if you put in the calculators. Getting in this answer? Now there is something called Poisson process. We won't be going in detail to Poisson process, but yes, there is a basic concept Poisson processes in your CM2 and CS2. Okay, so Poisson process, understand it like this: I am getting lambda, an event is happening at a rate of lambda, right? So lambda at per time unit, lambda per time unit, right? So for example, if I say these are distributed randomly, I can say I am getting, for example, 3 calls in 3 days. So on an average, how many calls I am getting per day? I am getting 1 call. How did you decide? You divide by 3, right? Or I say if I am getting my 1 call per day, how many calls on average will I be getting on 3 days? So you will be multiplying 1 into 3. So this is basically called lambda process. Okay, sorry, Poisson process with rate lambda. If I am having a process that is for example having with the lambda units per time, lambda per unit time, okay, there is a process happening randomly at a rate of lambda per unit time, then in time t number of events happening will be lambda t. Clear? You will understand it via this question only. The number of home insurance claims, note down the question, the number of home insurance claims a company receives in a month is distributed as Poisson random variable with mean 2. Calculate the probability that company receives exactly 30 claims in a year, and you have to assume that all months are of equal length. Okay, this is your assumption. Now you have been given the lambda process, Poisson process of monthly Poisson process, right? But you have to find the probability of claims in a year, that is 12 months. So if I am getting 2 claims on an average in 1 month, so how many claims I would be getting in 12 months on an average? I will multiply this by 12, so I will get 24 claims. Okay, so here my distribution was Poisson 2, here my distribution will be Poisson 2 into 12, which is Poisson 24. Okay, so now you have to calculate the probability that you have to get 30 claims in a year. You will be using this. If I would be saying how many claims will I be getting in half year, so I would be multiplying it by 6. So find out the value of probability x is equal to 30 if my x is following basically Poisson 24. Quickly give me the answer. Quickly give me the answer. So it will become e raised to the power minus 24, 24 raised to the power 30, and we have 30 factorial. This is coming out to be 0.0363. Yes, correct. Clear, guys? So we have completed all the discrete distribution. In the next class we will be doing starting with our continuous distributions. Okay. So summing up all the distribution, if I come to all the distribution, first we understood the uniform distribution in discrete case, okay, where we have attached equal probability of occurrence to all the events. Uniform clearly says equal, that's why we applied the equal probability there. Okay. Coming back to next distribution was my Bernoulli distribution. Bernoulli distribution was a specific case or special case of my binomial distribution. In my Bernoulli distribution, I was doing only one trial, and in each trial I can get two events only. Either I can get a success, either I can get the failure. I have defined my P as the success probability and 1 minus P as my failure probability. Okay. And if I generalize this case, I will get my binomial distribution in which I am doing n number of trials and I am getting my x number of successes, similarly with the rate of P probability of success. Clear? Moving forward to next distribution, we have defined geometric distribution, which was a special case of my negative binomial distribution. In my geometric distribution, I was talking about my first success. I was saying I am doing x number of trials, in there my x was number of trials, and I am getting my first success at my xth trial only. Clear? When I generalized this case, I had moved to the negative binomial distribution. In my negative binomial distribution, I am no more concerned about my first success, but I am concerned about my kth success. I am saying in my x number of trials, at my xth trial, I am getting my kth success. It means before my x minus 1 trials, I have already received my k minus 1 successes. So before that it was binomial distribution, and for that particular event it was my making the whole distribution as negative binomial. We have also determined two types of geometric and two types of negative binomial, type 1, type 2. Type 1 was concerned about success, type 2 was concerned about failures. Okay. Don't get confused, you can model every single situation in type 1 and type 2 as well. That's completely up to you, what you feel comfortable. Usually most students do type 1. Okay. Then we move forward to our next distribution, which was not so important distribution, not given in your tables book but given in your material of IFO and II. So it was hypergeometric distribution, where we have defined a population size of capital N, a sample size of small n, and I had my k success events in my total population. I have to find the probability of getting x successes from my samples. Clear? Moving forward to next most important distribution of my entire statistics was Poisson distribution. Poisson distribution basically tells if something is happening at an average, I have the rate of my events happening, then I can find the probability of exact number of events happening. Okay. For example, if I have been given my machine fails 5 times a year on an average, that's my rate, right? Rate of event. What is my event? Machine failing. What is the rate of that event? 5 times a year. So I can calculate the probability of machine failing, for example 3 times a year, or if 4 times or more than 3 times or less than 3 times. Clear? The distributions whose probability function or mean and variance you have to learn wholeheartedly was 2 distributions till now, binomial distribution and Poisson distribution. Other than that, you have your tables book in your laptops or in hard copy. You can look out the distribution function, you can look out the mean, you can look out the variance. Okay. No derivation is directly asked in a question, so you do not need to practice the derivations as such. You should be able to apply these functions, apply these mean, variance and probability function from your tables book in the question. it may be difficult at start to identify which distribution your question basically follows, but it's okay. With practice, make sure you're doing a lots of questions in the practice. We'll be doing more questions in a class as well. So then you will be able to get comfortable with the things. Clear guys? If this is clear, if you have no doubt, we can wrap up the class. Give me a done in the chat room. If you are having any doubt, give that as well in the chat room. Otherwise, we can wrap up our speed distributions. So, okay, assuming no doubt in the chat room, I am wrapping up the class. Till then, have a nice day and practice lot, guys. Thank you.